Welcome to News with a View, hosted by me, John A. Costa. This is April 27th, 2026, and I want to thank all my subscribers and people who review my shorts, and I appreciate it. It'd be great. Leave comments, likes, and of course, please subscribe. Today I'm going to speak about the White House correspondent dinner shooting. I did not do that yesterday. I did not do it as it happened. There's just not enough information. The shooter, Alan Cole, is going to be arraigned today on a slew of charges that could be upgraded later on. We got lucky, but luck was only going to carry us so far, folks. This shooting, and it was a shooting because one of our Secret Service agents was shot. This is all part of the Democratic hate speech. And I honestly mean that. The talking that's going on by leaders in the Democratic Party is extremely dangerous. You had last week Senator Cory Booker, a presidential hopeful, come out, and he's a senator from New Jersey, of course, everyone knows him, and said that America was facing a great darkness and that the need for foot soldiers to go out and defend democracy was needed. Now, I'm finding a bit of a sore throat today. This type of rhetoric and call for violence. This was a call for violence. This wasn't anything like January 6th where they said, hey, protest, we want to count, we want to count, we want to revote. And then, the Capitol Police invited those rioters in there. That was all staged by the Capitol Police, Pelosi, and the FBI. We know that. This was Senator calling for a full-scale attack against our government and our leaders. From Cory Booker to useless Senator Schumer, the hate speech coming out of these people against not only President Trump, but of how we work as a republic. And I keep reiterating that we are not a democracy, folks. Stop believing we are a democracy. We are not. We are a republic that has democratic principles, but we are not a democracy. And when I hear people like Cory Booker go out there and dog whistle these people, and this guy, Cole Allen, was inspired by people like Senator Cory Booker, who get it in their heads that this is it, that they got to do something. I got to get rid of these people. And we've seen this before in Pennsylvania. We've seen it at Mar-a-Lago. We keep hearing it from the left. It is outrageous. And honestly, Democrats, even liberal Democrats, moderate Democrats should abandon their party and just go, we're going to find something else. But even the liberal Democrats have to sit back and look. There has no constitutional changes. There has been no threat to our way of government, to your rights as citizens. No threats whatsoever by the administration to take away anyone's rights. If anything, it is to strengthen your right. And this is not even being thought about by the progressives in the Senate, the progressives in the House of Representatives. And Booker, Schumer, Raskin, Pelosi, they're not Democrats. They're progressives. They want a change of how we do business. They want to take away your rights, just like they tried to do it during COVID. You must stay inside. You must get a shot to continue your job. You had Democrats saying we should put people in camps. They're the biggest bunch of lying scumbags that I can think of. And this should not go unnoticed by the media. Cory Booker, in his speech last week, called for exactly what this guy did, what Cole Allen did. They have to be called out. And he'll say, no, that's not what I meant. I meant we have to go out there and peacefully protest. That, no. You don't need soldiers to do that, sir. You need citizens. But the minute you start calling them soldiers, you weaponize them. And Cory Booker, you should be called out on this every time you open your freaking mouth. Schumer, you stand behind him. Jeffries, you stand behind him. Schiff, you stand behind him. Raskin, you stand behind him. These people need to be called out, and called out big time. Called out big time. And from the false reporting in the news of our soldiers not having enough food to eat on an aircraft carrier, nonsense. The media jumping over, this was all a staged event. We're looking into it because people are saying it could be staged, so we're going to repeat that idiocy thought. The beast. I wouldn't even put anything on paper from the beast on the liner of my kitty litter. And they all lie. They all go unnamed sources or sources that are not permitted to speak. Then don't put it out there. You can investigate it, but until you have solid proof, you don't put it out there. And they hide, well, it's the freedom of the press. I can do that. No. Here, I have Cory Booker's speech. Those words are there. They're never going away. And I can point to each and every one of those verbs and adjectives that he used to point towards violence. He talks about a darkness descending on America. What fucking darkness? Because you guys didn't win? Because you guys struck a chord that was so off-tune to the American voters, they turned. And they did exactly what they should do. Vote against the guy you disagree with. Vote against that agenda that individual is proposing. And this has made the Democrats insane. The TDS that's running around is now violent. And you hear these people talk, you hear people interview these protesters from everything from ICE down to, you know, from ICE to voting rights. And you ask them a question and then they get mad. And then they say, oh, you're trying to trick me into saying something. No, we're asking you, here is the language. Here's everything that's being done. Yeah, that's Trump did all that. No, that's been on the books since, I don't know, 1980, some of it. With the immigration and, of course, ICE and everything, and Department of Homeland Security happened after 2001, after the World Trade, and Pentagon, and Pennsylvania. People forget. They don't go into the details on why. And nothing has changed. President Trump did not change any wording with that. President Biden did not change any wording of that. Obama, Clinton, and Biden applied the language to what they wanted and just refused other language in there. The creation of Dreamers, DACA, the parolees. You know, it's not in, no one passed any legislation for that. There was some, but no one ever created a classification like that. It was a presidential executive order. And that was been erased now by President Trump. And the problem is that with the Democrats, with the immigration, is they allowed these people in here and they just faded into the population. There's no way to find out who these people are. And of course, the ones that came over with no documentation, meaning they entered the U.S. illegally and not processed through an immigration center, and gotten temporary protection status, TPS. And everyone forgets the first word is temporary. So the idea of the media just lying and constantly lying to the American public, there's got to be some standard put out there. I don't mind investigative reporting. I don't mind that. I don't mind when they find stuff. But while they're just using hearsay, that shouldn't be allowed. That's not news. That's gossip. You want to have a gossip magazine? Call it Gossip Magazine. National Enquirer, right? And the reason why the National Enquirer can't do the business they used to do is because now the media is turned into the National Enquirer. And you don't know what to believe. What, you know, everything from UFOs, you know, and there's aliens who are visiting us, you know. I mean, crazy world. Crazy world. And if you believe in the science, you know that there can't be visitors from another galaxy here, because they have to live under the same physics laws we do, unless the physics laws don't apply. And then, can you believe the science? Because we're told to believe the science with vaccinations and climate control, and the false reporting, of Iran. And they run with it. They still have 60 ballistic missiles, and that's They have more cards in their hand than their show. Yeah, you wait for 90% of your military to be eliminated and degraded so that you could shoot your secret rockets at us? No, come on. You hate America, you hate the military, you hate what we stand for, so you put this press out there, and you got people out there that eat it and love it and regurgitate it, and you give them more. And you got eyeballs. It's fine to question our leaders. It's absolutely essential that our leadership be questioned. But when you start lying and slanting it, the way you people have been slanting it, your MS, your CNNs, your Daily Beast, your Yahoo News, which is not even news. I don't even know what it is. They put big bold headlines, and then you see, oh, hold it. That's from the Nigerian press. Well, they're putting that out there, so we can put that there. See, they don't have to then fall under our rules. That's Nigeria. We're just putting out what Nigeria said. And they put this out there, and the ignorant people read that, and they go, yeah, see, that must be true. I saw it on the news. Really. I'm going to keep this short. I'm going to keep this to about 25 minutes, folks. The Iranians have put a new proposal out after, meeting in Russia. I'm hoping Iran is asking for a refund on the military equipment that was going to destroy every airplane flying over their sovereign territory of Iran, and every foreign naval vessel that goes through the Strait of Hormuz will be destroyed, because we have this technology from Russia and China. Yeah, I hope they're there asking for refunds. Because, you have the press going, we're running out of missiles, we're running out of this. No. And you have to laugh. We're using ammunition on some of these ships from World War II that we still have. We got us plenty of weaponry and plenty of sophisticated weaponry left, and stuff we haven't even used yet, but just waiting. The proposal reportedly would require Washington to first end the war and provide guarantees that it would not attack Iran, resume attacks, and that the attacks have to all end. And then at that point, Iran will negotiate over navigations through the Straits, and Iran's nuclear program, key priorities for the Trump administration, would come only in later stages, Iran said. And if an agreement is reached, the process will move to a second phase to discuss how to manage the Strait of Hormuz after the end of the war. Yeah, hey, fellas, no, you don't manage it. That's theoretically international waters, past your 3-mile mark and whatever, and ships can navigate through that. as long as they don't pose a navigational threat. Yeah, you don't have a say over that. And you're not going to have a say over your nuclear capabilities either. This is why we started it. We're not going to, Trump is never going to back down off of this. And he knows all Iran does is lie. It has never kept any of its promises. None of them. Why would they do it now? So the idea that Iran is proposing anything, no, you don't get anything. You get nothing, sir. Nothing. Good day to you. Iran had its moment. And when they started making threats of nuclear weapons, and they did during the negotiations, and that's why Iran was attacked, they let it slip that they had 10 enough nuclear materials to make 10 nuclear weapons. So they had weapon-grade plutonium. And all the time before that, they're saying, no, we don't, but we're not doing that. We stopped right at the cusp. And this is for, nuclear reactors. We want to sell not only oil, but, and that's fine. I could get there with them if they would have allowed inspections. And you have people, they allowed inspection. No, they didn't. We were picking up radiation in spots that they didn't say there was any nuclear material ever there. And then we had a nuclear lab there in the past, but not anymore. But you kept telling us all before that you weren't doing that. Well, oops. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, folks, this is not going to work out well. We will realign our oil to be here. The problem is in America, and everyone's screaming, is we don't have the refineries. All the states find them, out of existence. So we're dependent on our oil being sold somewhere else and then coming back here for the most part. California does not allow gasoline to be brought in over land or through pipes or even from Louisiana by ship and around. Nope, we got to get it from Asia. California. You don't think they're making billions of dollars? Someone's not making billions of dollars and getting a nice payday from that? You need to wake up, America. And you got to realize that Democrats are truly against our value system. From our health to our political well-being. They are a threat. And not all Democrats. There's good Democrats out there that don't want to go along with this, but they have no choice. But they do have a choice. They do have a choice. They can abandon the Democratic Party and move to an independent or a Republican. So they do have a choice. They just don't want to do it. And thus they are compliant and complicit in what's going on. So that's my beef today. It's been 25 minutes. I said I was going to keep this one very, very short. But again, I blame Cory Booker, senator from New Jersey, for the shooting that took place in Washington at the White House correspondent dinner. I directly blame him and those of his ilk, and he should be called out on it. Got a comment about that? Leave it for me. I always say like, comment, subscribe. Give it to a charity if you can give it to a charity. Make sure it's a bona fide charity so you're not a victim trying to help victims. Not interested in that? Think about giving to a food bank. Or a charity that helps people in that type of manner. Food banks and charitable organizations. I was fortunate this week to go to one on yesterday and made a sizable donation. And I know that that's going to help people immediately. Immediately. And that's a good feeling. Bob in New York does the same thing, and he is a rabid, uber progressive. And he does the same thing. See, we got something in common. Drinking and throwing our money. Right, Bob? Laughed. I spoke to him the other day, so he's doing good. Say a prayer. Prayer does work. It really does. No matter what a Democrat may tell you. You want to know why I say that? I always say, ask me in a comment. I will answer you. All right, everyone. Be safe. Be well. I don't think I'll be doing another show this evening unless something really pops. And it would be real quick. It would be a 10-minute show and whatever. All right, everyone. Be safe. Be well. As I fade to black.